So I got a Terminator here that I'm gonna work on next. Not too much different for mods on this one either. Now I have one of my very first Terminators I bought 12 years ago. It's the only one I bought. He's solid pewter. Whoops, he's out of the picture too. He's solid pewter. And you can see I already got him on the 1-inch base. And now I just super glued him to a regular Terminator base. And he needs to be painted, of course. But anyways, he looks really cool. And then for these other Marines, you know, they got the Storm Bolter just the same. And then they got their Power Fist. But then they got this rinky-dinky thing on the front of the arm I don't care for. So I already got one model where I shaved it off. And then I got another, you know, here's another one. This is, I got his arm posed differently. Here's the offending part on the arm. And I'm just going to whittle it off. Now, you know, I don't know. Maybe some of you probably like it. I just don't. It just looks like a goofy thing to have on the front there. Maybe it has a story behind it. But I'm not a fluff guy for Warhammer 40K. But anyways, just going on a lack of sleep right now. I've been up since 6:30 yesterday morning, and just want to get some work on some models. I haven't really had much chance to do anything over the week. There we go. Got some of that stuff off. And can't really say much more than that. Spend 13 hours a day working. Half that time is just sitting in my car. Well, not half, but I do a lot of driving. There we go. I actually got on there pretty smooth. So, just gonna keep on whittling away here. And then there's a little bit of a kind of like an area here where the shoulder is, and then you got that shoulder guard. What I try to do is I just try to, where this part here comes down, I just kind of line it up and then cut that excess off. Try to shape it a little bit. Take a little bit more off yet before I sand. And then yeah, you do want to cut smaller increments, because like you see sometimes when I pause there, it's because I go on too deep and the blade's not going to go through there smooth. And then when you get to that point, if you keep on applying pressure, you're going to snap the blade through and have so much pressure that you might not be able to stop in time, and then it will cut your thumb, just like that. Now I cut like that all the time, so I'm not going to say cut away from yourself, because I always do it. So I'm not going to say do what I say, not what I do. Because when I cook, I cut carrots and potatoes and onions. I cut them all the same way. Cut with the blade towards my thumb. Something I picked up from my mom, watching her cut her vegetables and stuff for meals. a little bit of a hook yet. Might have to go on to a new piece of paper here, sandpaper. Now I do try to avoid the little pattern here on the side. So my Space Marines here, they're not really going to follow anything special. They're, you know, sometimes they might be a generic unit, and then sometimes maybe be a particular type of army. Whatever I feel like playing, whatever I have codex for. Right now, of course, I just have just a generic Space Marine codex. So, see how that goes, and if I want to try something else different from there, all I gotta do is just buy the codex. That's the one versatile thing about if you're starting out in Warhammer 40k, if you get Space Marines, there's a lot of flavors to the Space Marines. And from there, you have a build of the flavor for other armies. Because like if you play well, pretty much if you do like Blood Angels, you're almost got that orc mentality. You want to be right up in front and then get into melee combat against your opponent. So by starting off with Space Marines, you can kind of develop that taste and tactics for that. If you're like White Scar, well, White Scar is pretty much in many regards like Dark Eldar. And Raven Guard's kind of the same way. Raven Guard's a little bit different than White Scar. Just different mentalities. So there you go. Still got kind of a weird little hook. It's not as smooth as I'd like it. But that's pretty much the only other mod I got going on right now for my Marines. It's just carving off that weird offensive part that I don't care for. And so there you go. Terminator modification. Where's his other arm? There it is. So, end product. You guys take it easy.
Are you scared? We're all